On this railway adventure, Switzerland's most prestigious luxury train and the very best Swiss chocolate on the Montreux Oberland Bernois Railway. Hi, I'm Bernie Coppell. Just up the tracks, cars and trains sharing the road and a railway that the Wall Street crash crushed. Join me from Lake Geneva on Railway Adventures Across Europe. For many, Switzerland may call to mind terms and phrases such as neutrality, the Geneva Conference, and peace. After this adventure, another term might come to mind, a word that in English means a disorderly, lawless crowd. Fortunately, in Switzerland, the letters M-O-B mean something much more pleasant. They stand for the Montreux Oberland Bernois Railway, known as the MOB. Our adventure includes both the MOB and the Blona-Chambé Tourist Railway as we travel near the shores of Lake Geneva. In this magnificent region, we'll discover one of the world's most prestigious modern luxury trains. We'll also visit Switzerland's only all-volunteer railway, rediscover a Swiss railway doomed by the infamous Wall Street stock market crash, and take a railway that shares the road with cars? All aboard for trains, mains, and automobiles.
This railway adventure begins in Montreux, Switzerland, not far from the French border, on the shore of Lac Léman, the French word for Lake Geneva. The Montreux Oberland Bernois Railway is known simply as the MOB Railway and runs a small mainline network of narrow-gauge rail lines that connect to the Montreux station. We'll take a variety of interesting and scenic trips on this network. Our first trip is from the Montreux station to Blonay, past the Vaudois Alps, which soar like sentinels over the lake. The modern trains of the MOB twist and turn as they climb nearly 2,300 feet in just 11 miles. The route takes us to the second highest point on the railway, yet we are only a short distance inland from Lake Geneva. The MOB proudly claims to be the world's steepest adhesion-only or regular traction railway. As our train runs into the town of Blonay, a tiny red shuttle tram rumbles to meet us. We'll leave the MOB for a short ride on the Blonay Tourist Railway steam train. This little 50-year-old vehicle was originally owned by the Zurich Tramways. Now it belongs to the Blonay Tourist Railway, which is the only rail line in Switzerland run entirely by volunteers. The MOB train glides away to continue its climb upward. Meanwhile, the film crew balances precariously on the tram's open platform for the short ride to the Cherlon depot. As we arrive, the steam locomotive number 99193, built in 1927, is being prepared for the day's work. The locomotive is from the De Gaulle to Aakensteig line in Germany and came to the Blonay in 1969. The railway is virtually a working, rolling rail museum, with a variety of historic locomotives and rail cars taking visitors into the beautiful Alpine Mountains. This restored trolley dates from 1909 and works as efficiently today as it did in the turn of the century. The trolley is a splendid sight coming across the impressive viaduct or bridge near the station. The railway has rolling stock from all over Switzerland and Europe. This tiny steam locomotive, named Le Doube, is over 94 years old. In its heyday, the engine worked near the French frontier between Le Lac and Le Prien. This magnificent steam rotary snowplow, which used to belong to Switzerland's Ratchabon Railway, is waiting to be restored. It's a reminder of how severe winter conditions can be throughout Switzerland. Even in the spring, railways all over the high Alps must continue to remove snow from the tracks. Today we see a powerful modern rotary snowplow battle with a late-season avalanche. The mountain ledge is steep and icy, and a steady rain beats down, turning snow to slush. As the low clouds drift on the mountainside, there is no sound except the banshee screech of the rotary plow. Since there is danger of another slide, we might perhaps find another time to ride to the top. Our adventure now returns to the MOB, and we will ride on the railway's flagship train, the famous Panoramic Express, traveling between Montreux and Lucerne. This is among the world's most prestigious modern luxury trains. Over 2 million passengers a year travel on this railway through Switzerland's rural heartland, and a great many of them travel on this very beautiful train. There are not many stops on the line, and departures are made with renowned Swiss precision. Waiting time on the platforms is minimal, for nothing slows the progress of the Panoramic Express. The Swiss scenery is as spectacular as you'll find anywhere in the world. The panoramic passenger cars on the Express give travelers a high vantage point and are very comfortable. The Montreux Oberland Bernois Railway has a long history of luxury passenger travel. At the end of the 1920s, this route was on the grand tour for many American visitors. In 1931, the MOB introduced the Golden Mountain Pullman Express. Unfortunately, the great crash on Wall Street and the many long years of depression which followed eventually doomed that railway. But today, the Panoramic Express has been revived. Trains and automobiles meet on the same road when Railway Adventures continues. Our railway adventure continues on Switzerland's MOB. Like most railways, the Montreux Oberland Bernois Railway got off to a long and difficult start. Initially, there was proposal after proposal for construction of the line. Eventually, either the difficulty of the terrain or lack of capital caused the plans to be dropped. In 1894, Vaud, Fribourg, and Bern, the three cantons or states which the MOB would cross, got together, but they too failed to find a solution. Finally, it was the booming winter sports at Les Avants that got this line on its feet. The Swiss federal government in April 1898 granted permission for construction. This was the catalyst it needed, and large investment groups became interested. The railway concession was transferred to a powerful committee in 1899, and the MOB was born. Today, the MOB is a busy modern railway, providing passenger and freight service to the region. Early mornings at Rougemont perhaps best sum up the MOB's local passenger and tourist business. The mountains tower above the silent town, and the sound of cowbells echo in the distance. 5 minutes before the train arrives, a few passengers begin to gather at the station. A group of children arrives just as the first sound of the approaching train is heard in the distance. The road-crossing gong sounds its warning as the train glides in. An orderly scramble for seats, and a few minutes later, the train speeds away right on time. As the train leaves, the mountains resume their silent vigil over the station, waiting for the next group of passengers. The scenery in the Bernese Oberland region is magnificent as our train winds through small rural towns and narrow mountain valleys. The MOB is also an important rail link between the towns and villages of Lake Geneva and Lake Thun. The railway runs frequent daily non-stop express trains in each direction. In addition, local all-station passenger trains run throughout the summer, increasing their numbers in winter. area is known for its thriving timber and agricultural industries. You'll find it common in Switzerland for trains and automobiles to share the same road. Trains move slowly when they're on the roadway. Cars oftentimes don't. This speeding driver is about to have a close encounter with a train several times its size. But the driver had good sense and the car good brakes, so the train takes the right of way. Our train continues its explorations to Montreux. The pleasant little village of Montreux is where the meter gauge trains from Boule stop. The railway is known as the GFM and connects the MOB with the federal railway system at Romont. The extensive Swiss network of private and government railroads serve large urban areas and small mountain villages. As always, visitors and locals reach their destinations in comfort and on time. From Montreux station, our train departs for Boule. This is open country and the railway runs along the main road for most of the 15.5-mile trip. In addition to passenger service, the railway is busy handling daily freight traffic. This electric locomotive represents the current state-of-the-art in design. It is a tribute to Swiss railways that they harness the very latest railway technology in a totally integrated transportation network. At the station in Boule is a little of the old and a lot of the ultra-new. There are also narrow and standard gauge trains with electric and steam locomotives. Modern or old-fashioned, don't let the train leave without you when Railway Adventures returns. Railway Adventures continues at Switzerland's Boule train station. A steam locomotive leaves with a special excursion train. RHB engine number 1 will steam off without us, though. Maybe next time we'll have our tickets. Just outside Boule is the Nestle factory, where this newly refurbished Automotrice, a trolley-type car, is headed. The car was built in 1903 and still runs as good as new. This leg of our railway adventure is on the Gruyère-Fribourg-Murat Railway, which is known as the GFM and connects to the MOB. This combination engine and passenger car glides effortlessly along the electrified overhead wires. These cars are often used on the more popular tourist routes. There are some famous station names on the Montreux Oberland Bernois connecting railways, but none more famous than the Gruyère station on the GFM. The station has a mixture of old and new trains, just like the rest of the railways in the region. Today, that contrast is plain to see. Engine number 1 of the Ré-de-Chabannes Railway is kept here, used for special tourist excursions. The steam locomotive makes connections with the MOB, GFM, and Blunay railways. This nostalgic reminder of the glorious days gone by was built in 1889 by the Swiss Locomotive and Machine Works. It first came to the Blunay Railway in 1970. Kept in immaculate condition, this engine is very popular with visitors. Most travelers, however, will have to settle for the modern, comfortable trains that are the hallmark of this world-class transportation system. Unfortunately, not all the rolling stock were as fortunate as engine number 1. Back on the MOB Railway, another out-of-the-way destination is the mountaineering center and ski resort town of Lenk, which is known for its sulfur springs. The train leaves Gruyere for Lenk, which is about halfway between Montreux and Spiez. Lenk is a brief stop, and the railway dead ends here. Lake Geneva to Lake Thun by rail, next on Railway Adventures. We'll continue our railway adventure in southwestern Switzerland. The BLS is one of the connecting railways to the Montreux Oberland Bernois Railway. The BLS climbs nearly 1,000 feet and 30 miles on a relatively easy grade to Zweisimmen from Spiez on Lake Thun. This is part of the rail link between Lake Geneva and Lake Thun, also a popular tourist destination. The MOB Railway and the other connecting railways offer an exciting way to see this part of Switzerland. The trains are as diverse and interesting as the scenery along the network. From the ultra-modern electrified MOB trains, the super luxurious Panoramic Express, the mighty steam locomotive or antique tram cars of the Blonay Tourist Railway, to Old Number 1 from the Ré de Chabannes Railway, the scenery and the railways of Switzerland are yours to enjoy on your own railway adventure.
So the next time you hear the letters M-O-B, think of the positive meaning. Remember our adventure on the Montreux Oberland Bernois Railway. We hope you've enjoyed trains, mains, and automobiles. I'm Bernie Coppell. Join me on the next Railway Adventures Across Europe.